Of all the streaming services that put out these movies that just kind of come and go, it feels like Amazon's movies just kind of come and go the hardest. So many of these streamers have these disposable films that are just meant to kill time. They're meant to be content that's just on the platform so they can have some content just maybe entertaining enough so that you don't turn it off, but they don't really care if you pay attention to it or remember it the next day. And Amazon is one of the worst. There are so many Amazon movies that came out like last year that if you ask anybody, they've probably never heard of them. And if they have, they heard about them for maybe one day's worth of discussion and then they're forgotten about forever, even if you watched them. They all blend together so much. But I heard some good reviews before The Wrecking Crew came out, so I was like, okay, let me give it a chance. We got some fun actors involved here. Jason Momoa, Dave Bautista. Let's give it a shot. And you know what? It is very much one of those generic, disposable action movies that you would just kind of expect to see pop up on Amazon. But it's better than many of the other ones. There's entertainment to be had here. So Momoa and Bautista play these estranged brothers. Their father is killed in Hawaii, and they team up to find out what happened with him. And the two of them are really good. Bautista is like the serious Navy man who settled down with a family. Jason Momoa is more of the wild guy. They have good chemistry together. They are realistic as much as people are going to be in a ridiculous action comedy like this, but their dynamic is realistic. It feels like I understand what mistakes each of them made, why they feel this tension between them. Neither one of them is just like an evil person, but they've done wrong to each other, and they're gonna establish that bond throughout the movie, and you see that coming. That's all pretty basic, but it works well because the actors are good. They're having a lot of fun. Marina Baccarin is also in it. I wish she was in it more, but she's good in the small part that she gets. And they definitely sell the action scenes. The first one in the movie actually got me really hyped. I was like, okay, you know what? I might be really on board for this. It's a fight scene with Jason Momoa, and it's really well choreographed. The camera work is great. It's brutal. It makes good use of the environment. It's really good. Like, I was very exhilarated by this action scene. That's the best action scene in the movie, though, so never quite lived up to that again. The rest of it's fine, though. You get these like car chases and shootouts and a few more hand-to-hand scenes while there's a car chase, and even though some of it looks kind of fake, you can tell where CGI is being used. A lot of it is done really well. It's shot nicely, where you can tell exactly what's happening. The actors seem committed to it. It gets pretty violent, which I really like to see. I wish there had been some more. I wish it had focused more on some of that really good hand-to-hand that we got at the beginning that set my expectations high. But what you do get is fun, because that's what you're there for. You want to see the action scenes. This is directed by Angel Manuel Soto, who did Blue Beetle a couple years ago, and so I really like the way he helmed this. So you got the fun actors and the fun action, but everything else is exactly what you would expect it to be. There is no reason why this should be 2 hours long. The plot is nothing. It is the most basic plot. It's the exact plot that you would imagine for something like this. It feels like an AI probably wrote it, and if it wasn't an AI, somebody wrote the whole script in 20-30 minutes. Bad guys kill dad. Sons try to find bad guys. Bad guys want thing. You know, just take the list of generic things that the bad guys always want in movies like this, and just pick one. It doesn't matter which one you pick, genuinely. Just pick one, and there you go, and that's the whole movie. That's the whole plot. What do you mean that's 2 hours? What gives you the right? There's no engagement with the mystery at all. There's very little actually happening. You just want to see the actors interact, and you want to see them kick some ass. All the things that are going on story-wise, couldn't give less of a shit. The reveals are not surprising. I don't know why it's so long. Jacob Batalon is in this as well. Outside of Spider-Man and maybe like Novocaine, he was fine in that, but he was really barely in it. I haven't really been sold on many of his performances, and the same goes for this. And I also just felt like his character was not necessary. I really like the dynamic between our two leads, and I want to see them bounce off of each other more. When you introduce Jacob Batalon as this other guy who's along for the ride now, it's like, I don't really want him to be there, actually. Just cut him out. You'll save on runtime. We don't need him. Or if you want to give more time to a side character, give it to Morena Baccarin. Or Stephen Root, he is like the generic police sergeant guy who's like, you guys better not go around making trouble, I'm gonna take your badges and your guns or whatever, you know. He doesn't say that exactly, but it's that character archetype, and that's pretty tired. But I love Stephen Root, but he's also barely in the movie. It just feels like this story was constructed in... You know what? No, it doesn't feel like it was constructed. They took another story that already exists, maybe cross out some names here and there and just replace them with slightly different ones. There you go. There are some parts of it that are really sloppy. Like at the beginning of the movie, Jason Momoa is on the phone with Dave Bautista's wife. She called him to try to get him to come home to Hawaii for the father's funeral, and he puts the phone down, she's on speaker, and that's when the Yakuza come in and threaten to kill him because of something that they're looking for in his house, and she can hear it. Like, he goes, what the fuck? And she responds to that. She's like, Johnny, are you okay? There is no shot of anybody turning off the phone or grabbing the phone. There's no implication that that happens at all. There's no reason she would hang up because she's the type of person who would want to know what's going on, and she clearly hears that there's a disturbance. The Yakuza immediately start talking. We are the Yakuza. We are going to kill you. Like, that happens immediately as she's on speakerphone. But the movie just pretends that that never happened. Like, the next time we see her, she's just like, oh, hi. Nice to meet you, Johnny, now that you've come to Hawaii. What? The way you filmed it and wrote it is that she was on speakerphone when the Yakuza attacked. But now, as if by magic, she just didn't hear any of that. Like, why would you write it so that he's on the phone during the attack if the person on the other end of the phone won't hear the attack? Why didn't you just write it differently? This is actually like breaking my brain a little bit more than it should. I shouldn't be giving it this much attention and thought, but it's a very confusing choice. And it's just one of those things where it's like, well, they want the story to be that nobody believes Jason Momoa for a while. So we can't have had her hear it. Well, then why did you write it so that they were on the phone? Anyway, it's fine. Doesn't matter. The comedy also, not good. Very basic, very juvenile. When the Yakuza attack Momoa, he's peeing, and then he pees on them. Pee. Do you get it? It's funny because it's pee. Next up, we're gonna elevate to poop, and that'll be twice as funny. They do the thing where somebody goes, there's no way you're gonna get me, location, and then hard cut, and they are in location. 2026, 2026, and we're doing that? How do you not feel embarrassed? How do you write that down on paper and you're like, yep, that'll get them? Like, how do you not feel like maybe that's been done? Maybe we'll just there was no editing here. There was no going back and like revising this script and making sure it worked as a story, because it's just like, who cares? We expect people to be on their phones when they watch this, so it doesn't have to be tight. It just has to function. And it technically does, thankfully, because of the actors and the action. But story? What is that? Comedy? Don't put any effort there. It is the pretty disposable streamer type stuff, but it's hard for me to be mad about that anymore. There's just nothing we can do about it. I'm used to it. And there's been worse. When one of them comes along where I'm like, well, that had some merit, I'll take what I can get. Like, I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, really. Like, fast forward through the talky parts. They're not going to say anything interesting anyway. Watch the action scenes. But I'm not really going to recommend it. But if someone told me they were just going to throw it on because they needed 2 hours to kill, I wouldn't be like, no, don't. You know, go ahead if you want, I guess. It's fine. It gets the job done for being a little action movie that blends in with 75,000 other action movies, but, you know, it's okay. 6 out of 10 at best. It might even be more like a 5, right in the middle of just like, this exists, I'm not mad at it, but I will forget it easily. Jason Momoa's character references Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and Avatar: The Last Airbender in this movie. That's interesting. That was a kind of a unique little bit of characterization. He's way into animation, apparently. That's cool. That's the biggest takeaway here. That's what I'll remember this movie for. Oh, that's the one where Jason Momoa seemed to maybe be an anime fan? That's what this has going for it. But you know, it's okay. Action, disposable fluff. But those are just my thoughts on The Wrecking Crew. If you've seen it, leave yours down in the comments and we can talk about it some more. If you liked it more than me, if you couldn't get into it, whatever you thought, maybe you were really into the comedy, I don't know. Whatever, we can talk about it down there. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more from me. I appreciate it. Hope to see you next time.